Hello everyone, welcome to my video discussion number 1. My name is Daniel Washburn. You can call me Mr. Washburn, Daniel or Dan, it's fine. I've had a few nicknames in the past. When I visited Germany, they would call me Waschbär, which is like raccoon in German, or in Korea it was Washibon, which doesn't mean anything, but it sounds Korean. I have some professional background in IT, and that's what I'm studying now. Actually, when I went to college, I was interested in astronomy, and I also took German, so not a lot to do with IT. It wasn't until after my education that I ended up gravitating towards IT. As a matter of fact, after college, I joined the Army and became a Korean linguist. And it wasn't until years later that I was a civilian and got a tech support job, and then got a project manager job and implementation and sysadmin and stuff like that. But I never had any formal education, so I've always found that I thrive on variety and having technical challenges, being around smart people, and just getting things done. So now the BAS program I'm in is cybersecurity. That sounds exciting. Mainly it's, I have studied quite a bit of security lately when I did the Security Plus certification, and that really interested me, so it seems like a natural fit. Security specifically has been more of a hobby. Like, I've been in IT, but I've been interested in groups like the DEF CON groups and the guys that go do pen testing. I just hung around with people like that and have gotten interested in it. But more pragmatically, it feels like IT is kind of a commodity these days. There are so many people that have basic skills, and it's hard to differentiate yourself. And so I'm hoping that cybersecurity is something that is going to become more prominent and more of a distinguishing career that I have. Professionally, and what I hope to accomplish with this degree, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go with it, but I certainly hope that it is something to do with helping people be a little bit wiser about how they share their personal data, about how companies protect their digital assets, how people are a little bit more discreet with their personal lives. And I just hope that I'm in a place where I can make a difference. Now, for hobbies and leisure time activities, of course, what got me into computers to begin with was making sure my Atari 800 was working, or whatever games I was playing, they were able to work. Ultimately, connecting to the internet, making sure that the hard drive wasn't getting full. All these things were like fundamental to me getting into IT. But since then, I mean, I'm obviously interested in languages like German and Korean I mentioned, and I've been interested in others. I enjoy writing. Like, I like to write about music and about problem-solving things. I enjoy hiking, really outdoorsy things. Like, even during the winter, I've been going out with hiking groups to see the sights, and there's still a lot of beautiful stuff to do. Riding my bike along Centennial Trail has been fun. I hope to do that more. And I'm into homebrew, like making my own beer, so that's fun. I've had a few explosions where my beer ended up on the ceiling. Don't know if anyone else homebrews, but gotta watch out not to clog your pipes. So, to date, what has been your best professional experience? I have had a number of varying IT positions. One that I'm most proud of is where I worked with a team where I ended up being the team manager of about 13. And naturally, you want your team to be effective, but I also wanted to make sure that I could offload some of my knowledge and responsibilities so that I'd have a backup in case something went wrong. More people that are knowledgeable, that can be resourceful, that can be proactive, they can feel empowered to make decisions and do smart things. So I set up kind of an ongoing program for mentoring so that we would find out what skills are needed, identify those on the team that were interested to do that and work with them, spend extra time, give them challenges, set them up so that they would have a clear path to do well in their current position and then get promotions from there. Like if they were level 1 direct telephone support, they'd be more involved in projects, and the more advanced things get promoted to level 2, and from level 2 to level 3, and level 3 to sysadmin type jobs. So that had pretty good effects, and I just had a feeling of satisfaction. I don't know if that was something that made the company a lot of money, but I felt I was doing something that made a difference there. What is communication? Well, effectively conveying ideas that are in your head and sharing them to someone else is the basic idea of communication to me. If you've got a thought, an idea, you want to be able to sell it or promote it well, and communicating it in effective language is good, but I'd say going beyond that is conveying it in a way that will be understood, will be where someone will be receptive to what you said is important. You could have a great idea, really great way of describing it, but if it is not presented in a way that is going to be received very well, then you may not get very far with that idea. So professional communication then is where you've got kind of a protocol or a standard for how people are going to be receptive to that. It's going to be in a certain language, it's going to be a format, but it's also going to be in ways that the audience will listen and will respect you for it. It's going to be, let's say, crafted in an email or in a knowledge-based article or in a presentation. It's going to be in a way that is not distracting. It's going to be effective and efficient. It's going to be to the point, or it's going to have the right words. Let's just say buzzwords that are going to get to people's attention. In the real world, how do you think this material should apply? For this course specifically, I'm looking forward to learning how to break out of my shell, promoting myself better, also listening better. That's the whole part of communication, is that you present yourself well, but you're also attuned to listening. And I can see a lot of our activities are focused around listening well and then contributing back to the conversation constructively, instead of trying to take the spotlight away from people. Instead, you're helping the whole group successfully communicate ideas, build on them, come up with new ideas as we go. We're accustomed to being lazy, though, when we communicate. Not really, responding in ways that make it look like you were listening, but in reality, you're just kind of shutting your brain off and saying things that will placate the conversation. Some of us, like myself, I tend not to want to instigate or flare up a conversation. I'd rather just keep things mellow. A lot of times we say things that are just meant to close the conversation. So it's interesting that our part of our assignment is to say things that build it up, intensify it, add dimension to it, and you have to put more work into listening and thinking of a response. All right, finally, what are the 3 most important things you learned reading our course syllabus? So I'm impressed by the statement that success is a choice. Yes, that is true. Completing the tasks, going beyond that, and learning, growing, expanding your capabilities is a choice. You can choose to put in a little less effort to get by, or you can choose to aggressively seek out ways to grow, and that's a lot of work. I can see now that there are going to be a lot of assignments that take a little extra time, thought, energy, some of your soul. You're investing into it because other than just doing the minimum of the assignments, you actually want to invest some of yourself in it, get some returns on that with maybe expanding the envelope of what you thought you could do. I expect to be challenged during this process, and it's a little scary, but I do have a goal. My purpose for doing this is to actually learn, to grow, and make connections with people. All right, number 2, I'm intrigued that there's a section about scamming Canvas. Of course, in my cybersecurity program, that should be a natural to me. It's actually essential to be able to think like the enemy or the adversary or a criminal. Supposedly, in my cybersecurity program, it's all about me being on the blue team, on the defensive side, like always thinking of how to put up appropriate protections to safeguard a company's assets. But the fact is, you have to come into this being kind of attuned to the criminal mindset, or to the scammers, to the people who want to cheat the system. So I admit, naturally, I'm not always thinking of ways to scam the system, but it is a good skill to acquire. And so I appreciate that insight that I could have tried to think of a way to scam Canvas. In this case, I appreciate that someone else has done that, and now I have learned that trick. I guess I should try to think of more ways to scam the system to succeed in my cybersecurity program. Next is the grading scale. I can see that attaining a good score calls for dramatically exceeding the minimums, and that's going to be challenging. I see that I have to push myself. I don't really know where that boundary is of dramatically exceeding expectations. I don't know exactly what that is. It reminds me of like a movie where the manager had the employees, maybe it was Office Space, the manager said, I want everyone to wear a minimum of 13 pieces of flair on their uniform so that they could show how enthused they are about the job. But then when one employee wore 13, then the manager kind of complained to the employee, why are you only wearing 13? The employee said, because that's the minimum. But obviously the manager was saying, but I want you to exceed that, dramatically exceed that. Okay, and then she asked, how many is that? 20, 25, 30? We don't know. We just have to put in a lot of extra effort and be enthused and aim to go above and beyond. So I look forward to that challenge. We'll see if I can do it. Don't know yet. Thanks, everybody. Look forward to talking in class. Bye-bye.